how hard is it to consume this? So you've got this thing sitting here. Suppose I wanted to create a page that actually used that. And I'm just going to go back over to our website. I'm going to add a page here and just show you. Bless you. I'm going to add a new page to our basic site here. We're going to call this our Odata demo. O-demo. How's that sound? And we're going to use the master page. And the data endpoint I'm going to use is, I'm not going to use the Netflix at first. Netflix is kind of cool, but I also have TechEd.cloudapp.net. TechEd has all the sessions that are part of TechEd have been recorded and available, and this is a data source where you can get to all of those sessions. So if you want to find sessions about Odata, you can go to cloudapp.net, go to /sessions, and then do the filter substring is equal to Odata. And this query will pull back all the sessions on Odata from TechEd and give me all the information so I can then use that. So from a given web page, I can use jQuery or any language that understands how HTTP requests work. And I can create a consume that. So inside of my source, go back here, I got a split view. Up here I've got, here's my O-demo page. And then let's make this actually here, make that a H1, that's pretty. And rather than doing this, let's just go to just the source view. We'll do it a little quicker that way. I've got some markup that I created for working with this data. So I've got some markup which has a find by keyword. It's an H2, it's a bunch of text. And I've got keywords are equal to some input. You'll type into a text box, an input box, whatever you want. I name that text key. And I have a link called find, which has got an ID called button find. And then I have a div with my results in it. So using this, I want to go out and I'm going to create something that will actually query this data. So let's add, how many people know about jQuery? Is it Ajax language? Have you used it? Yeah. So this will be like a piece of cake for you. I'm going to add the jQuery scripts. And I'm just going to use the basics as much as possible. So if you look at what I've got here, is I've got my Ajax library script downloading from the content delivery network from Microsoft. So Microsoft has got an Ajax download, and it's just a minimalist script. I don't want to do a lot with it. Well, I have a script here. And in my script, I'm going to have a couple of methods going on. One is I'm going to wire up this page when you go out and browse to it to give me the ability to wire up those initial functions. So here's my onReady method. The $document says, okay, when it's ready. So if you're not familiar with the syntax, what this is doing is the document is finding the document current DOM, pulls the ready function and implements some behavior with that, which I define in the delegate. The button find click, so it goes out and finds that element in the document. And now the click function has this happen. So it goes out and we call something to prevent the default behavior. I'm going to put my own behavior inside of it. So instead of doing a link like you do with a hyperlink, replacing that. I'm going to call this method called load data. What load data is going to do is I've got a couple of things I want to do. One is I want to pull out whatever you typed into the keywords. So I'm going to go out to TechEd. I'm going to search TechEd for whatever you type in the keyword and find you sessions that are in the abstract. So you got the, you can search by title. Well, I find the titles don't always include what's actually in the session, so I look at the more descriptive big paragraph. So from there, I'm going to create a quick little query that's going to look a lot like this. So this is our query. So all we have to do is create something that looks like that. And then I'm going to pass in here what those keywords were, right? So let's do that. In my toolbox, I have query TechEd. This is going to go up, sets up a string equal to the TechEd cloudapp.net/sessions, adding the filter substring of whatever you type in keywords, it's searching the abstract field. And then I've got a JSONP, a callback to basically provide my finish method, so I get notified when it's done. So down below this, I've added a method that is going to be my onComplete, or onSuccess. And this is, again, real simple HTML. I'm going to create a table tag and put a couple rows and columns and stuff. And then for the results that came back, for each one of them, right, So we got a bunch of them. I'm going to add a row, which is going to be a TD plus I'm pulling result attributes. So I'm pulling up the ID, the meta tag, and a couple of other things. And I'm going to format that so that you can actually see this data. And then once we get down to the bottom, we close out the table, and then we just set our results equal to what that HTML is of that table string that I created. So right click on this view in the browser. And it'll go through, and it should render up our application. Find by keyword, type in Odata, click on Find. If you're interested in what's happening, you can go up to the F12 developer tools, click on your script, so you can start debugging, and then come down here and add a breakpoint. So we'll put a breakpoint right here, a breakpoint down here, and then minimize and click on Find. So now we're stepping through. I can see the locals of what's going on. So if you do an F10, you can see, okay, it went ahead and created the keywords, it pulled out, formatted this string. And sometimes I go on and copy this string into a browser to show you what the result is. It's going to actually return back the data as JSON-P, so it's going to be a name value pair. Do the F5 key to run. Now we're back in results, and now I can iterate through, and I can see from my results, I've got a bunch of rows, 7 or 8 rows that came back, 0 indexed. If you do the F5, and you can see there's the different sessions. What's cool about this is you can click on the actual link, it'll open up a page, and then you can actually watch that session from here. Pretty cool. Sweet, huh? That is sweet. So consuming an OData endpoint can be done by anything that can send an HTTP request. And what's interesting about this particular example is I haven't wired up to tech yet. Let's change it to Netflix. To change it to Netflix, all you have to do, change the query, right? All the other scaffolding's already there, so let's just put a Netflix query in there. This one's going to go out to the Netflix catalog. Call it query 2, query 1. So this is going to go to the OData Netflix catalog. And then I set my filter up, and the titles is what I'm searching for, and etc. Does that make you dizzy when I zoom in and zoom out? Or is that something to like? That's cool.
Do it faster.
Scary. So what I've got is just a slightly different URL, right? I could also do eBay. I could also do TwitFix. I could do SharePoint. I could do anything that exposes this WCF data endpoint. Down here in our rows, we're going to change out these rows, that basic HTML. I'm going to put in rows for Netflix, which is just a slightly different thing. Do a Control-KC to comment those out, or just delete them. Do Control-KC, comment out the rows. Keyboard shortcuts are nice. But now I'm going to pull back an image of the box art, and I've got the link to the page and whatever, and I'll let you go out and view it. Right-click, view this in the browser. And figure out why it's not open. And then you've got a download page. Let's search for the hunt for October. Search for October. And then you get this back, and you get even the links to the pictures where it makes sense and whatever. But the idea is that you can take this data endpoint and be able to consume it from a lot of different places. And there's just a variety of different OData endpoints that you can work with.